But it seems that a far worse fate still could be about to befall them, because a group of American scientists claims to have proved that the bacteria and microbes in sewage can survive far longer in seawater than was previously thought. And the research suggests that in time these can build up and become a health hazard to bathers. It's a finding which throws into question the EC standards which currently govern how much sewage we can pump into the sea. And the argument is currently being thrashed out in Scarborough, where Yorkshire Water want to build a pipeline to take more raw sewage out to sea. James Hogg now reports.
This is the story of what happened when the might of officialdom was challenged by the schoolmaster, the accountant, the salesman, the solicitor, the bookie and the chiropodist. Calling themselves the Sons of Neptune, from their habit of sea bathing summer and winter, these pillars of the Scarborough community have developed from fun-loving eccentrics into a formidable pressure group.
What we've got to make plain to the public is that we're not against long sea outfalls. Our emphasis is on disinfection of the material that goes in. Absolutely. So that it cannot destroy the sea environment.
They're passionately opposed to a local sewage scheme, which some experts say will deposit raw sewage onto the resort's beaches. The Water Board's claim that that won't happen is hotly disputed by the Sons of Neptune.
I think it's the ultimate horror story. When we have gone to the lengths that we have gone to prove that we are right, there is absolutely no shadow of doubt at all that we are completely and utterly in the right over the matter, then I think, I'm appalled.
The last thing Scarborough needs is a question mark over its sewage disposal. So, in the name of improvement, Yorkshire Water want to take the sewage further out to sea by pipeline. But the objectors, backed by scientists, say it'll come back onto the beaches, and they've countered with their own scheme to disinfect the sewage and then pump it even further from the town. Unlike your average environmental activist, the Sons of Neptune are comfortably off professional men. Chris Found is an accountant, and Brian Dew is Pilkington's man in the area. Their leisure time could be all beer and skittles, or gin and tennis. But then they began to believe their favourite shoreline was under threat.
The sounds and the smell, it's part of Scarborough and it must be protected.
Yorkshire Water want to build their £20 million scheme on the northernmost of the town's two bays, at Scolby Ness. The pumping station would be set into the hillside overlooking the beach, and the untreated sewage taken down a long pipeline out to sea. According to officials, it won't come back to pollute the sands. Captain Sid Smith disagrees. He's been co-opted into the Sons of Neptune as one of the country's leading tidal experts. 80 next birthday, Sid still edits Olson's Nautical Almanac, The Fisherman's Wisdom. He says the tide brings other things in off the sea, so why not sewage?
The Scarborough Corporation spend a fortune every year carrying away seaweed that's washed up from the outlying rocks here. Not only in winter, but in summertime, in fine weather as well. That seaweed is torn off the rocks and the tidal inset brings it in and streams it along that north side, and they have to clear it away because it comes up to such a depth. So anything that's put in the sea here, off Scolby Ness, will finish up on the North Sands here.
Including sewage?
Including sewage, including dead bodies as well.
The water industry defends the Scolby Ness scheme vigorously.
We have done a massive amount of survey work. We've done current metering, we've done seabed surveys, we've run the most sophisticated mathematical models, and they quite conclusively, as far as we're concerned, prove that that will not happen.
Now, these standards apply throughout the whole of the European Economic Community and protect all the well-known bathing beaches in the Mediterranean, the Spanish coast, the Greek islands, for example, and those standards are being applied here. And all the evidence we have is that they are quite satisfactory for protecting bathing waters.
But the campaigners are still snapping at the heels of the Water Authority. This dog track in the country outside Scarborough has a strong gypsy following, many of them enthusiastic patrons of one of the sons of Neptune, local bookie Cecil Ridley.
1-4 for a fiver.
1 to beat 4 for a fiver. That's a 6 to 1 chance.
He fears for the reputation of his hometown as a safe place for a holiday.
Anybody can throw pollution down a long pipe into the sea and hope it goes in the right direction, but there's no written guarantees that it will. And if it ever did come back onto these beaches, I feel that, you know, Scarborough would end its days as a holiday resort.
No, don't start getting
Education al fresco is another use for Scarborough's beaches.
If you can imagine that the other way up, that's fastened onto the rock.
Geography master and son of Neptune, Jeff Nunn, is careful not to propagandize to his pupils. But off duty, his position is clear.
They might not be able to see it, they might not be able to smell it. But if we have got millions of gallons of raw sewage going out into that, and even a small proportion of it coming back in, it's enough when it isn't necessary.